I don't know, but it seems often that these scripture stories have very little desire to honor the ecology of our world. Imagine 150 some fish they caught. Who's going to buy all of them? We didn't have refrigeration in those days. Of course, I worry about these things. Perhaps you don't, but I mean, when you think about it, when you hear a gospel story, how do you approach it? First of all, I hate fishing. I'm sorry, but I do. I love fish once it's on the plate and not moving and cleaned. But I don't really care for the patience that is required sitting there. And then very often the fishermen I had gone out with were these people a little crazy, aren't they? Very OCD. They told me, shh, don't say a word, don't move, don't do this, don't do that. There we go. And fortunately, every once in a while, they didn't catch fish either for all their plans and all their methods. So the fishing thing kind of throws us off in this story, because when the gospel writer John writes it, I think he must know I'm writing this for people who like fishing and people who don't, people who are fishermen and people who are not. So what does the story have to do with anything except Jesus is kind of the new figure in the story? So we take time and we have to kind of put aside some of our cultural biases, and likes and dislikes in my case, and try to figure out, why is it important that Jesus appears to his disciples while they're fishing? And it suddenly dawned on me, well, these are working disciples. The disciples, while they followed Jesus, still had to make a living, didn't they? I mean, Jesus was unemployed, let's face it. So were the disciples? No, they were working. They all had jobs before they met Jesus, and now we see they continue to work. Life goes on as usual, even though this extraordinary event happened, that Jesus came into their midst and chose them as disciples. Yet life still goes on. The rivalry between John, who writes this gospel, and the one whom Jesus loved, as he always says, and Peter is very clear. John really portrays Peter as a very poor fisherman. I mean, let's face it, the guy's supposed to catch fish, and he doesn't. It takes Jesus to make that happen. But more importantly, life goes on. So the question is, if we are disciples of Jesus, life goes on, right? But they will continue to witness to the experience they had of Jesus. And so the question is, do we? Are we working disciples? Oh yes, we work, we're busy, we have lives to deal with, we have children to raise, husbands and wives, all that and social engagements. But are we disciples while we are living this life? Or do we let ourselves get distracted by work, family, social engagements? Do we let ourselves get distracted and forget that we too are working disciples? That life continues for us as well, but we mustn't forget this new element. Jesus was a part of our lives. We're disciples too. We are like the disciples of the old days. We have to work, but the focus still must be on Jesus. So how do we do that? Well, I'm so busy, life just doesn't allow me time for anything. I get to Mass on Sunday, that's about it. And I'm lucky to get there often. No, you have to carve out time. Make time for Jesus in your life. The way, too, in which you present yourself to your co-workers, to your families, in your social engagements, is also a way to be a disciple. Not to be afraid of being one. It's interesting that in the United States, we were noted for the Great Revolution that allowed us, for one thing, to be able to practice our faith in freedom. Not in private, but in public. There'd be no reason for the revolution. If we were practicing our religion privately, nobody'd know. What's the big issue? But we wanted to be able to express our faith publicly. And the great American experiment worked. Well, at least until recently, when it seems like nobody has tolerance for anyone else. That the public forum is no longer a place where you say, I'm a believer. No matter what that belief is, you should be able to be free to publicly declare that. Now, you don't have to be a Bible thumper, no. But you have to be able to understand that our faith is not separate from our lives. So this week, let's look at our way of behaving. Do we take advantage of the fact that we can be public about our faith in the way in which we treat one another, in the way we look for the needs of others first, in the way we look to be of service to everyone? This week might be a good week to do that. Kind of look at the way in which we've been living our lives. Has religion suddenly become secret and tucked away in a corner in our life, or are we working disciples?